Hello, I'm Bob Gager, I'm Laura's dad.
Hi, I'm Alan Tilley and I'm Robin's dad.
Two fathers following two journeys to take on the social care system that's close to crumbling. This is Torbay in Devon. They call this the English Riviera, 22 miles of coastline in Devon. But councils here are struggling to cut their budgets and increasingly are nervous about liabilities insiders say they can't afford. All too often the axe has fallen on respite care, which allows vulnerable families to take a break from looking after their loved ones.
To look at her, you wouldn't realise that she's partially sighted. She's also severely deaf, so she wears hearing aids, and she has learning difficulties. That's good. She uses sign language, which is very important, and she really appreciates it if she meets somebody who can do a bit of signing. They change beds. And she watched mine, come round to everyone and said, "Dad, good signing." And my signing can leave a lot to be desired. So she is a bit of a character.
Last year, Devon announced it was closing down the local respite centre.
As you get older, you need more help rather than less help. You think, well, how's that going to work? And I'm not sure that the government and local councils actually appreciate how important things like respite are.
And a lot of people get beaten down and give up. How did you steel yourself to take on the council?
Well, we were actually horrified when we received the first letter from the council saying this is what they proposed to do. It came out of the blue. No one was expecting it. And we looked at it and thought, no, hang on, this can't be right.
What the council didn't realise was that Bob used to work at His Majesty's Revenue and Customs. And when they think something isn't right, it probably isn't.
If you're looking after a disabled person, and we've looked after Laura since day one, you think, oh no, here we go again. We're having to fight for something that basically should be a right for a disabled person.
In life, there are so many paths to take, but where?
Bob teamed up with the local MenCap charity where he's a board member to investigate what the council were getting up to. They thought the closure process was unlawful.
We decided that the only option was to go to judicial review. So that's what we embarked
Council wasn't
upon.
expecting that.
No, I think it came as a slap in the face to them, quite honestly, because they stopped the consultation. We are just waiting, basically, to see what the next move is. And if the next move is along similar lines, then we're ready to hit the go button, and that's what we'll do.
A Devon County Council spokesperson told us,
"The council is under a duty to meet the eligible needs of its population under the Care Act. Consultations can be complex processes. The points raised were taken into account by the council."
Across the country, the picture is much the same. 1 in 5 local authorities warn they face bankruptcy, while 8 have already nosedived into the red. This April, council tax is set to rise a maximum £2 billion to cover costs. But after the election, tighter spending plans could mean councils have to save £1 in every 7 they spend. But what if there's another way? This is Alan Tilley's £1 million dream. It's a hotel in Babbacombe that he'd like to buy and convert into a respite hotel, with disabled people working there and using its services. Alan is already running a social supermarket with the same inspiration.
It's going to be an inclusive hotel, which encapsulates the best parts about all the people who we work with. To have a hotel which is full and buzzing with adults with all different abilities and disabilities, I don't know, I think it's a brilliant model.
His daughter Robin is autistic, but the council have refused to fund her respite care. So Alan started the charity Turning Heads to make things better for her and her peer group.
I think not having respite is actually quite cruel on families because you just have to carry on.
Do you think the council is being honest about the scale of demand.
I think they underestimate what the demand is. I don't think they really understand how many people are in need of respite. I think the figures are skewed. It's a different kind of dishonesty, isn't it? I think it's a dishonesty by sort of burying your head in the sand.
A spokesperson from Torbay Council said,
"The availability of respite provision is a national challenge, and Torbay is no different in that respect. However, we continue to innovate to seek solutions locally."
Despite a recent funding boost, councils say central government is to blame for their financial hardship. But last week's budget offered no new cash, with all the emphasis placed on tax cuts.
Does that incense you then when you hear the Chancellor talking about tax cuts?
Yes, it might be nice to have perhaps a penny in the pound off your income tax, but the downside is, you're getting less services, and that's not the way that I think the government ought to be doing things, because people like Laura, they don't like change. They like familiarity. They like going to the places they like going to. They like staying in the places that they know. They like the carers that they have. Say bye-bye. Bye. And we'll see you later. Okay, you have a nice time. I love you too.
Parents, councils, charities, there's a wide consensus that worry that the country's social care system is coming apart at the seams. Short-term cash is not enough when what's needed is a long-term vision for how we fund and look after those who need it most.